Hey, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I'm bringing us all every Call of Duty game ranked from CoD 4 and up from best to worst here. So how I'm going to base my rankings on this list here is going to be my opinion based off of these 4 factors which determines how good a CoD is, and those are going to be weapons, kill streaks, the maps, and the amount of fun I've had in that Call of Duty game. So once more again, this is my opinion. We have different viewpoints on every CoD. And what I think is, say, the best CoD might be what you think is the worst CoD and vice versa. So make sure you keep that in mind while watching this video. Another thing to keep in mind, I've been playing Call of Duty since 2010 when MW2 was in its prime and Black Ops was about to come out a few months later in that November of 2010. So it's been now 8 years since I've been playing Call of Duty. I did not get to experience World at War or CoD 4 back in the day in 2007 and 2008 because obviously I did not know about CoD until MW2, so World at War is going to be unranked here. But as for CoD 4, I'm basically going to replace MWR with it because I played Modern Warfare Remastered in its prime. It's essentially the same thing, but the only difference is the fact that MWR has supply drop content, supply drop guns, and also it's just updated graphics and such. But it still does have the same CoD 4 weapons. It has all the CoD 4 maps. It's just reskin with new content and such. So hopefully you guys don't mind that. And also, I'm not going to be ranking CoD World War II yet because its life cycle is still not over. So maybe updates in the future will make it better. Who knows? But guys, let's get started. Ranking every CoD from best to worst. Number 1 goes to Modern Warfare 3. So the Modern Warfare 3 kill streaks, I say, are great, that offer variety. You had your solo kill streaks, your support, your specialists, and that's what I loved about the Infinity Ward's old Call of Duty games with MW3 and CoD Ghost. You had 3 types of playstyles to choose from, and that's why I loved MW3 so much, because you had lots of great solo kill streaks from the Pavlo, AC-130, and the Reaper. As for support, some of them were very cheese, like the Stealth Bomber, and some streaks that can actually kill you, which I don't know why support streaks could kill you, but they did. But aside from that, the advanced UAV, the ballistic vests, they were pretty fun. And also having the specialist strike package was just phenomenal. It makes you feel like you're a literal god, and it feels like you're a super soldier essentially, because once you hit that specialist bonus, you get every perk and most other proficiencies in this game, which is just absurd, and you can just get your MOABs easily because of that. So the streaks as a whole in this Call of Duty game are very fun, and the best part about it is the fact that you can choose your playstyle, and the variety is definitely key there with MW3. So as for the weapons, I say this Call of Duty game has some ridiculous weapons for sure, but was okay with balancing. There's some iconic and fun guns in MW3 such as the MP7, the Scar, you have the ACR obviously. So MW3 weapons were kind of a joke at times, especially the Akimbo FMG9s when the game first launched. Those were an absolute joke for sure. Those were literally overpowered, but they were soon nerfed. But then when they got nerfed, they were buffed on accident and such. So MW3 weapons were kind of iffy, but at the same time I feel as though there's some weapons that were very underappreciated, like the Type 95, the PP90M1, the P90, and maybe the FAD at times too. So MW3 weapons overall, they had variety, but it's just that people only gravitated toward the MP7 and ACR, and that was it, and that's unfortunate. As for the maps in this Call of Duty game, I say they are very fun and they're not that boring compared to most CODs. There's a few exceptions, you know, having Interchange, having a Downturn. They are pretty bad maps and I don't like playing on them, but having Arcade and having Dome, Hard Hat, Mission, Seatown, and much more, those maps are just so fun to play and they're never boring at all to hop on when you get those maps popped up in the rotations. So overall, the maps in this Call of Duty game, they are super good, and that's the main reason why it's number 1 here, because I've had so many great experiences on all these maps here in MW3. So as for the whole entire fun factor, it was an extremely fun experience back in its prime, learning all the new stuff, learning all the new quirks, and using all the weapons back in the day. It was such a surreal experience, and I wish I can relive the MW3 days for sure. Some memories I can think of at the top of my head are like, say, playing face-off, split screen with my friends. That was extremely fun to do. I love Face Off in MW3, having these maps just built for Face Off 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3. It was such a nice change up, and it was so different to any Call of Duty game. And as a whole, the game modes here in this game offer variety from Infected, All or Nothing, and Drop Zone. The experience back in the day with those modes and my friends was fun, and still to this day, it always will be fun. And that's why MW3 for me is my favorite, and it's why I think it's the best COD. Going off the list at the number 2 spot, we have Modern Warfare 2. So the Modern Warfare 2 kill streaks are just phenomenal. That's all I gotta say. They just obliterate the enemy team, thinking of the AC-130 chopper gun or the Harriers, and obviously the tactical nuke. They are phenomenal. That's pretty much what made Call of Duty back in the day, and that's what makes Call of Duty now. You gotta have good kill streaks to have a fun experience online. And that's what was definitely provided with MW2. Some amazing iconic streaks for sure. As for the weapons, MW2, dare I say, has the best amount of like weapons to offer. You have your machine pistols, you have your shotguns, your launchers, your LMGs, ARs, snipers, and such. I just feel like this game has so much variety when it comes down to choosing your weapon and such, and it's just crazy how many guns are in that game. I feel like, you know, there's just so many fun weapons to use in MW2. And overall, the weapon balancing, since there was stopping power in the game, it felt like every gun was overpowered and that it melted, aside from maybe the F2000, but every gun in that game felt really nice. The UMP45, amazing. ACR, iconic. Spaz 12, breathtaking and such. Like, these guns are so iconic and they're so fun to go back and use still to this day here. As for the maps in MW2, I say they are really good. They're the best, I say, in my opinion, in COD history. There's so many iconic maps here that are beloved by the community, like Scrapyard, Rust, Terminal, Favela, Wasteland. These maps are definitely iconic, and it's crazy how nearly 10 years later they still hold up still to this day tier, and they're like better than most maps we have nowadays. That is crazy to think about, and that's why I cannot wait for an MW2 Remastered to play on these maps again, and because they're so good, they're so fun, and they definitely have some very unique locations here in MW2. So on to the number 3 spot, we have Black Ops 1. So the kill streaks in Black Ops 1, all I gotta say is that they're phenomenal. Thinking of the Blackbird, Chopper Gunner, the Gunship, the Attack Dogs, these things here just decimate the enemies. They are low cost in streaks, but have lots of power that definitely pack a punch. They're just insane streaks in Black Ops. The Blackbird is an all-time classic. The Chopper Gunner is also a classic as well. Phenomenal streaks, enough said. For the weapons, I say the assault rifle is definitely dominated. You have the Commando, AK-47, you have the Galil. These weapons are just so powerful, and they just pretty much dominate every other SMG and LMG, it seems like, and that's why this is an AR-dominated Call of Duty game. As for the other weapons, like the SMGs, LMGs, and shotguns and such, I don't know, man. To me, at least, it feels like there's lots of useless guns in Black Ops. I'm not sure if it's just me, but some of the guns, like some of the SMGs I'm talking about, like the PM63, the Kiparis, the MPL, they don't feel right, or they don't feel like they should be in the game. They feel like reskins of each other that are worse and such. The only viable SMGs, to me at least, are going to be maybe the Mac 11, and then obviously you have the MP5K and the 74U, and that is it. I feel the same way with the LMGs too, because I feel like they don't have a place in the game really. They feel kind of useless for me at least, because I could do the same thing with an assault rifle like the Commando or the AK-47. I don't have to use the HK-21 or the RPK, because I could just use other weapons that are faster and such. They don't feel right in Black Ops, at least with my opinion and my experience. So enough to talk about the weapons. Let's talk about the maps here in Black Ops 1. They are pretty well designed. They're kind of good, but I say there's only a select few of them that are okay, but the rest are kind of like iffy and mediocre. I say the only good ones, the only memorable ones I say are going to be Firing Range. You obviously have Jungle, Launch, Nuketown, and Summit. Those are the only good ones I say. The rest are kind of mediocre. They're at least playable, but they're just, for the most part, forgettable too. It's like I can't think of most of the maps here in Black Ops without looking them up online and seeing the whole entire map list. Like, are you guys going to remember WMD? Are you going to remember Villa? Are you going to remember Crisis, Havana, Hanoi? Like, these maps are forgettable in my opinion, and that's why the maps in this game aren't the greatest, aside from only 4 of them. which, yeah, for sure, firing range, that's iconic. Summit, iconic. Newtown, obviously hated and loved by everybody. But for the most part, the rest of the maps are just iffy and meh. The fun factor with Black Ops is definitely there because of the kill streaks, because of the game modes, the wager matches, the party games, and such that made the experience of Black Ops so fun. Wagering your CoD points, playing one in the chamber, playing 6 in Stones gun game, that was all fun, all great. And also, you can't really forget about zombies too, since it's a Treyarch CoD.
Thunder at my whim. Thunderbar!
Zombies and Black Ops 1, man, nostalgic, playing on Kino, playing on 5. I remember I was playing on 5 and I thought that round 19 was just such a high round, and I thought that was the best round ever. Oh my god, I made it to round 19, but you know, looking back at it now, that's just a round that everybody can get to and such. So yeah, Zombies, man, nostalgic and so great and OG and iconic in Black Ops for sure. And overall, guys, Black Ops as a whole, fun Call of Duty game, man. Really nice experience, but you know, the hit detection is definitely not there. It's kind of wonky at times, but still a solid COD. It's definitely my top 3 Call of Duty games of all time. At the number 4 spot, we have Black Ops 2. So the kill streaks here in Black Ops 2 are really good. They devastate the enemies, and they definitely one-up themselves from Black Ops for sure. They cost a whole lot more, but they definitely put in some work for their cost, sneaking out the Veto Warship and the Swarm. These kill streaks light up the kill feed for you and make you feel like you're the best player in the lobby. It makes you feel like you're a god. It makes you feel like you're Mark of J with these kill streaks for sure, man. I wish every single Call of Duty game had streaks just like Black Ops 2, because they probably had the second best or maybe the best kill streaks in COD history. It's hard to choose Black Ops 2 kill streaks or MW2. Maybe I'm gonna go with MW2, but aside from that, they did a great job with the kill streaks here in this game. As for the maps, they are extremely well designed maps that are very fun to play, and they're not boring. There's only a few boring maps you can think of, like maybe Turbine, Aftermath, and Drone, and that's it. But the rest of the maps are either okay and mediocre, like you have Express, you have Meltdown, and Overflow, and Plaza. Those are okay and playable maps, but then you have god maps like the Raid, Slums, Standoff. Those maps are phenomenal, and Black Ops 2 did a great job with the maps and having different variety with the locations and such. I say overall it was a good time playing on those maps here with Black Ops 2. As for the weapons in Black Ops 2, they're very fun. They kind of do feel pretty balanced for the most part, but it's just the fact that if it's just so annoying dying too many guns, like the LSAT with Target Finder, or the shotguns like the Remington or DSR and Ballista. It's just so annoying dying to those guns all the time. It happens with every COD, but it feels like it's just almost nearly the worst with this COD, dying from those guns constantly. But overall, the variety is there. There's some pretty amazing guns like the MP7, Scar H, and the A94, and MSMC, and M8. There's lots of variety with Black Ops 2. Everybody used a different gun, but it just was so annoying dying from a select few weapons, in my opinion. The fun factor with Black Ops 2 is there. It can be really fun at times, but feel inconsistent due to snipers, campers, shotguns. But using a variety of weapons and destroying with the kill streaks was pretty fun. Also, the hit detection and the netcode and the overall feeling of the game when you play online, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel smooth and consistent for me compared to, say, Modern Warfare 2 or even Call of Duty Ghosts. Those Call of Duty games both have far better hit detection, far better feeling to them because of how the game is mechanically and such. I don't know, something about those CODs that makes it feel smoother and way consistent than in Black Ops 2, I say. On to the number 5 spot, we do have Black Ops 3. So Black Ops 3 kill streaks, they were good for what they are, but they could have been better in my opinion. They honestly could have brought in some kill streaks from Black Ops 2, like the Swarm or the Lodestar. That would have made the experience a whole lot better. They're okay. You got the Mothership and the Raps and the Hater, and you got the Wraith, and those are pretty much the main ones right there, but they don't have that like iconic or that fun factor feeling like the Black Ops 2 and MW2 streaks. With the weapon balancing and the variety with the guns and such, Black Ops 3 did a great job with weapon variety. However, when it comes down to balancing, nope, because of this main reason: supply drop guns. That's the main reason why the balancing is definitely inconsistent, because you have guns that are objectively better than lots of the base guns that came with the game at launch behind supply drops. You got the PPSH, you got the XMGs, AN-94, you got the M16 and such. These guns are a lot better than some of the base guns in the game and such, and that's why the weapon balancing was very inconsistent. But aside from supply drop guns, the weapon balancing at launch was pretty good, I say, and over the life cycle it got worse because of supply drop guns. But excluding those supply drop guns, it was okay for the most part. I feel like I can use any assault rifle, any SMG. I could use the Kuda, Weevil, Feral, Vesper. I could use the KN-44, XR2, HVK, Manivore. Lots of variety when it comes down to your selection with Black Ops 3, but the supply drop guns just kill the balance, man. The maps in Black Ops 3 are very solid, and I say they are very well designed and thought out because they flow very well with the movement system. There's lots of alarm spots and opportunities that definitely take advantage of the movement system, and also having different underwater spots like see on Hunted and some other maps as well. I love the underwater mechanic in Black Ops 3. It flowed super well and nice and smooth with the gameplay, in my opinion at least, and overall the maps felt pretty great. I love Evac, love Combine, I love Redwood, I love Fringe, Stronghold. These maps are pretty awesome, I say, but they're not like, they don't have that iconic feeling as some of the maps do previously in the other CODs, but I say they're definitely good for what they are, and they're pretty fun. Speaking of fun, I say Black Ops 3, ever since the beta in August of 2015, I had so much fun with it. It was definitely a blast, grinding to level 1000 and just grinding camo challenges, grinding to hero gear, completing 100% of multiplayer challenges, and playing zombies as well, playing The Rise and Drop, playing Grad Kroby Revelations and Zombies Chronicles. The fun experience is there with Black Ops 3 back in its prime, but now since I played it way too much, I feel like I have 50 days played in Black Ops 3, 40 days played in multiplayer, and 10 days in zombies. Yeah, I'm definitely burnt out of it, but back in the day, yes, such a fun experience. Zombies as well in Black Ops 3 was pretty solid for what it was, but maybe Gobblegums kind of ruined that, because some people thought it was pay to win with the Gobblegums and that stuff right there. I didn't really mind them at first, but over time I realized that yeah, it can be pay to win and a pay to advantage and get to those higher rounds because of Perkaholic and because of some other Gobblegums and such. But overall, Black Ops 3 Zombies was extremely fun for me, and the multiplayer as a whole and everything as a whole, guys, it's a solid quality game for me at least, and I did enjoy my time on Black Ops 3. At the number 6 spot, we have Infinite Warfare. This may surprise a lot of you guys, but for me, Infinite Warfare is not the worst Call of Duty game ever, because the kill streaks in Infinite Warfare were pretty great for what they are. They made me feel like I'm dominating lobbies because of how great the Apex was. The RCA is amazing too. The advanced UAV having different variants, like the kill streaks in that game have different variants, which made each score streak felt very different and unique, and that's why I love the streaks here in Infinite Warfare. Also, the weapons, I say they could have been the best balanced weapons in COD history. But the thing is, there's weapon variants in that game, and there's weapon variants behind supply drops, which is unfortunate. So that definitely killed the balancing right there, inconsistent weapon balance. But not talking about the variants, excluding the variants, even though they have a big key with the gameplay, if you don't have variants in Infinite Warfare, the weapon balancing, in my opinion, is the best in COD history, because every gun literally feels viable. It feels like I can use any gun in that game aside from snipers and do pretty well with it. The variety is key with Infinite Warfare as well, guys. This game has lots of guns to choose from, which are unique to each other, having energy weapons, having a regular bullet shooting ballistic guns, having 2-in-1 hybrid guns, having some weird quirky guns that charge up and such, and having, obviously, you have your classic guns like the UMP, the Intervention, and Spaz 12. This Call of Duty game has lots of variety in terms of your weapons, and also has variety with the maps as well. You got maps in space, you got maps boots on the ground on Earth and such. You got maps that have some different locations that we've never seen before as well. They don't feel boring at all. It's definitely a huge change up and a much better pace compared to their last COD, which was COD Ghost. Comparing the maps in Infinite Warfare, which are just fast paced, you get into action all the time. With COD Ghost, you have slower pace maps that kind of feel like you're not getting into action as much. It's definitely a better change up in my opinion and such. So the fun factor for Infinite Warfare, it's there because you have lots of stuff to go for. You got your Prestige Master rewards up until Prestige 30. You got your mission teams, which offer a lot of stuff from camos to weapon variants to reticles to calling cards and emblems. You got your solar, black sky, diamond to go for. Also black sky, solar, and diamond and gold gear too. There's so much to Infinite Warfare, and that's why I did enjoy it. However, I just didn't like the specialist abilities and weapons, the rigs that it's called in this game. I don't like how you can literally be invisible in Call of Duty. You can, like, you know, have one-shotting weapons just like Black Ops 3. I don't like the special abilities or weapons, and that's the worst part, one of the worst parts about Infinite Warfare. Also, the weapon variants definitely killed it for me too, but aside from those few things, guys, Infinite Warfare is such a smooth COD for me that I do enjoy playing. I know that's going to be hard for many people to accept, but for me, it's at least playable. So on to the number 7 spot, we do have Call of Duty Ghosts. The reason why Infinite Warfare is higher than Ghosts is mainly because of the maps. Like I was saying earlier, the maps in Infinite Warfare are at faster pace, they're not boring, and at least I get into gunfights every 5 to 10 seconds, whereas with the Ghost maps, man, they're very slow paced, they're kind of boring to look at. I know it's supposed to be like, you know, kind of a realistic Call of Duty game. It does feel kind of grounded in reality and realistic because of the setting and such, but for me at least, it just doesn't take it for me. It's not fun at all playing on, you know, Stonehaven, Siege, or Chasm. But yeah, Ghost does have some pretty iconic and gem maps. Like, of course, you got Sovereign, Warhawk, you got Strike Zone, you got Tremor, which I like too. There's some pretty nice maps in Ghost, but for the most part, they are pretty bad, I say, the base maps. But the DLC maps, on the other hand, are the best in COD history. If the DLC maps were the base maps, COD Ghosts would have been the best Call of Duty game ever, and I made a video about that, which I'll link down below in the description. The weapons in this game were very fun, yes, having the MTAR, AK-12, the Remington, and you cannot forget about the Honey Badger, obviously, here in COD Ghosts. The weapons in this game are very unique because some of them do have integrated attachments, like the Honey Badger having a suppressor, having the K7 also has a suppressor too and such, and much more, guys. The weapons are very unique in this COD, and Infinity Ward did a great job of that, and they did a great job of balancing the guns too because they felt very powerful. So because of that, the time to kill was very melty and such, but overall, guys, the weapons are very well balanced in my opinion, at least. As for the kill streaks, they're meh kill streaks. They could have been better, and they honestly could have brought back some fan favorites from MW2 and MW3, like the AC-130, Chopper Gunner, the Pavlo. They could have brought back the Harriers and such, and much more, but they just chose not to. Not sure why. Bringing in those kill streaks would have made the experience of Ghosts much better, but they just chose not to. You know, so the Ghost streaks are okay for what they are. I love how there's variety. Yes, there's Assault, Support, and Specialist, but the Assault streaks lacked in performance. There's only 3 good ones. The Juggernaut, you got the Helo Pilot, and the Griffin, and that's really it. But comparing those to the MW2 streaks, like the Chopper Gunner, Pavlo, and Harriers, no, you can't compare them at all. They're far better than MW2, so they lacked in that category. They could have been better in my opinion. So as a whole, the fun factor for Ghosts, yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a mixed bag for sure, dropping chem strikes and such, but definitely playing on these maps wasn't all that fun for sure. You know, playing on Siege and Stonehaven, most of the time I'll just back out because of how bad those maps are. Like, that has a huge toll on your experience. The maps definitely have a huge toll. The maps for me didn't cut it, but overall it was a fun COD for me. Pub stomping back in the day, so much fun. Now it's pretty fun to go back, and it's a nice change up from these recent Call of Duty games, I say. At the number 8 spot, we got Advanced Warfare. So the kill streaks in Advanced Warfare for me weren't the greatest at all. They were pretty bad for the most part from my memory, because they're so bad to the point where I only use the UAV and system hack on my other account that I got to Prestige 30 with. Like, I'm not even joking. So this first account here with my combat record has these kill streaks used. Obviously, UAV system hack is the most used, but after that, you see, I barely used any of the other ones because there's no point to. They don't feel like they're good at all. and I made another account, got to Prestige 30, and literally the only streaks I used were the UAV and system hack because of how bad the rest of the streaks were. This Call of Duty game was different compared to any CODs in terms of kill streaks because you could put on different modules, which were attachments on your kill streaks that could either improve or make the kill streak worse and such, and in some cases you wouldn't even know what the enemy's kill streak is because it doesn't even show you at all what the kill streak has on it until you actually get killed by it. Or maybe if the enemy calls in a system hack and you can't jump anymore, obviously your exosuit has been disabled and such, and sometimes you can know what attachments the enemies are running on their score streak, but for the most part it's very random, and without the modules on the kill streak, the kill streaks are just useless, I say, in Advanced Warfare. And that's, I guess, evident in the fact that I only have used the system hack and the UAV until Prestige 30, and I have a 2.6 KD in that game, I say. Moving on to the weapons, the weapon balancing in this game was pretty poor, only because there was weapon variants. You had the Obsidian Steed, the Hole Puncher, the Insanity, and much more that were objectively better than the base weapon. And I hated that about Advanced Warfare. Some may say it's pay to win because you can literally spend thousands of dollars on supply drops and you could possibly get the best weapons in the game, which that's unfortunate, and that definitely caused for inconsistent gameplay. On top of the weapon variants, you have the two most used weapons in any Call of Duty game, I say, the AS-1 and Bal 27. Those guns are so annoying to die to the point where I hated that, where I actually made this second account, which you've been seeing. I made it to Grandmaster Prestige 30 essentially without using the Bal and ASM1. That's how much I hated those two guns back in its prime. That's how much I hated it, and I was so annoyed dying from those guns that I made it to Prestige Master Grandmaster level 30 without using those two guns. Like, I despise those, man. And that's why I say weapon balancing was pretty bad in this Call of Duty game. The variety wasn't there because the people only used the Bal and ASM1. There was great weapons like the Melee HBR and such, but people just never used them. The maps in this Call of Duty game, I say, are pretty good. They're actually very nice. They're fun to play on, thinking of Retreat, Comeback, Solar, Riot. These Call of Duty maps are actually pretty good, and they do work well with the movement system. It's all about getting the height advantage on Riot. It's all about the chaos and havoc on Comeback. It's all about getting the height advantage also on Solar and such. These maps in Advanced Warfare are actually pretty fun to play, and they're very fast paced and chaotic. I'll give Sledgehammer that. In terms of fun and such, this Call of Duty game for me was pretty fun, yes, back in the day, because I was going for DNA bombs and getting them constantly and such on my 2.6 KD account, not a reverse boosted account, but my legit 2.6 KD account. It was fun going for DNA bombs, fun at the time, but looking back at it now, it's honestly an unbalanced, unfair experience, in my opinion at least. You know, there's many fun stuff to go for in that game. You have lots of stuff to grind for. That's why I play the game so much, because there's tons of stuff to go for, from advanced supply drops at these at certain ranks. You got weapon variants as well as certain Prestige Master ranks. There's lots to grind for, but looking back at it now, it's just an overall bad experience, I say, because it feels so inconsistent. Enough talk about Advanced Warfare. Let's talk about the number 9 spot here, which I think many people are going to be so mad at me for saying this and my opinions on this COD here. It's going to be Modern Warfare Remastered. The reason why I don't like this COD at all is because it's too bare bones. It's too simple. It's not a Call of Duty game that's fun to play because there's not that much to choose from. And that's what some people like about COD 4. People like the simplicity of COD 4, but I don't understand how you can like that over the variety and the kill streaks to choose from with MW2 and the amount of stuff you can do in MW2, Black Ops 2, and BO1 and other CODs. Like, those CODs have more stuff, and there's a lot to do in those CODs compared to COD 4. That's why I say COD 4 is the worst one for me, at least. I'm not sure how you can find using the same old 3 kill streaks over and over again fun. Like, that's not fun compared to the AC-130 and Chopper Gunner and MW2. That's not fun compared to the Chopper Gunner and Dogs and Blackbird and Black Ops 1, and so on and so forth, if you get my point here. I get it, it's because it's obviously COD 4, it came out in 2007, that's the main reason why I'll cut Infinity Ward some slack there because it's their first COD that they really tried to revolutionize multiplayer, and they definitely did something there at first, but you know, comparing COD 4 to COD nowadays with so much stuff, like so much streaks and so much things to choose from, it can't be compared because it's much more fun to have more content than to have less of it, if that makes sense to you. And that's why I don't like COD 4 as a whole, guys. So that's pretty much everything, guys. If you can tell by now, my voice is definitely dying. It's been dying for the past, like, you know, 2 CODs I've been talking about here with this video. And overall, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comment section your thoughts on every COD. And if you made it throughout the whole entire video, guys, please let me know down below by saying, "Ghost, I made it," just so I know if you watched the whole entire thing. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace out.